Good afternoon. It's Thursday. It's 3:08 and it's time for you to be adrenalized. That's right, folks. It's time to get that blood flowing and get re-energized. Why? Because you're here, you're alive, and it's time to be motivated to live your best life. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tom Marino Show. I am your host, Mindset and Success Strategy Coach Tom Marino. Thank you so much for tuning in on what is another beautiful Thursday afternoon here on Long Island. It is October the 27th. We've got Halloween a couple days away. We had like an Indian summer all week. We had a lot of warm weather here. It's still warm outside. I feel like last week I was talking about how it's sweater weather, but it's no longer sweater weather. It's been like some kind of summer weather, but I know that we're going to be in the 50s over the weekend. So it's going to be a great time to get those sweaters back out and get those sweatshirts back out and be really comfortable and enjoy that beautiful, cool, brisk Long Island air. So welcome to today's show. I've been thinking a lot about what's been going on in the world. And, every day we keep hearing about the rising prices, rising inflation, how inflation is not just an United States issue, it's a global issue, but it is an issue. It's something that we need to address. There's so much stress. I even noticed like gas hiked up 10 cents in the last 24 hours. It was $4.19 for Ultimate, and now it's $4.29. I saw that on my way in, and it's just like everywhere you turn, there's a ton of increase in prices. Even food is expensive. Everything is expensive. Everything is just running up. So I thought, what better way to help my listeners, help you guys out there, than to bring someone on who does financial coaching, financial advising, and is the owner and chief financial educator of Key Financial. A friend of mine, Deanna O'Neal, she resides in the great state of Washington. And she and I met through a national networking group. And Deanna, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Tom, for having me. I'm very happy to be here today.
I'm excited to have you on, and thank you so much for calling in and being on here. It's great. We're on Zoom, so we could see each other. So, Deanna, tell us a little bit about Key Financial, what you provide to your clients, and then we'll get into all this stress of finances.
Finances shouldn't be stressful, but they are. So let me tell you just a little bit about Key Financial. Key Financial, that's KI Financial. That is about embracing your inner key, embracing the best you can be. And when it comes to money, it is about financial wellness. And when we think about our health and our wellness, it's about peace of mind, not having stress and anxiety. Key Financial is my own independent business that I started just about 2 years ago. I have been in the financial industry for the last 20 years, but I finally decided to do it my way. And my way is embracing that wellness piece, the listening. People everywhere can embrace financial wellness. And so that is why I really said, let's do this. Let's go out on my own and, make it available to everybody.
That's fantastic. I am so excited about the way you just put that. Financial wellness. We talk about the financial health of institutions. We talk about financial health in terms of, fiscal viability. We talk about it in so many different ways, but I've never heard anybody refer to it as financial wellness. Like, I've never thought of it as financial wellness. And what a different change of mindset I just had hearing financial wellness. So thank you for that. So tell us a little bit how you approach this wellness piece. What is it that you do differently than maybe a regular financial advisor, financial manager would approach a situation?
Of course. Well, most people think of their finances as numbers on a page. And that's all they are. But there's so much more to your financial situation. It's what money actually does for you and how you think about it, how you act about it, how you embrace it or don't embrace it. That is your entire health, your financial health. It's not just numbers, and you're not just accounts. You're not just what's in your bank account. The money that you make at work is bringing more to the table than just a paycheck.
Right.
It's bringing a roof over your head, food for your family. And so the approach that I take with people is helping them, first of all, understand their thoughts and their beliefs on money, because we all have very ingrained beliefs on money. An interesting study just found out that most of our financial beliefs are actually learned by age 7.
Wow.
It's amazing. And so we are structured, we're conditioned, whether it's through our parents or through society, the country we grew up in. and it conditions us one way or another.
Right.
And we take that with us into adulthood, and it's not always the healthiest way to look at money. We've all heard those phrases, but
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the way you're positioning it. It's very much how does money work for you versus how does it work against you, right? That's what I hear you saying. It's so much like what we talk about in mindset shift, that victim mindset of to me versus that productive, opportunistic growth mindset of it's for me. And that's an incredible piece of information that we learn financial relationships. We start building a relationship with money at such an early age that if it's not like anything else in life, if you don't develop healthy habits, right, you don't wind up healthy. But if you don't develop a healthy habit with money, you wind up in this fear of money and fear of losing it.
Absolutely. I talk to many, many people who money just gives them anxiety. They can't even look at their bank account. Even if it's in the positive numbers, they can't look at it without sweating and stressing. And somewhere along the line, they were conditioned that money is bad or that money is evil. Or, we've heard the saying, money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. But that is conditioning. And it teaches us to have an unhealthy relationship, just like you said. And so with my clients, my goal is to teach them to love money. Now, I'm not talking about being greedy and being ultra rich. It's truly learning to love and appreciate your relationship with money, because when you have a healthy relationship with it, it will actually work for you.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I remember talking to a neighbor of mine and saying all the things I wanted to do at my house when I moved in 16 years ago. Well, 16 years later, almost 17 years later, we've done everything that we set out to do. And she turned to me and she said, can you afford all of that? And I said, well, it's just money. Now, I didn't have a lot of it at the time when I said that, and I still don't have a lot of it. I have, I'm not poor, but at the same time, my attitude towards it, it's just money. And if I have it, I'm going to use it to make things better and do that. Deanna, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm so excited to get into conversation. But if you have a question, you have some anxiety about money, you have some fear about losing your money, there's a lot going on with all these rising costs, how to deal with that. We're going to talk with Deanna when we get back after this commercial break. So give us a call at 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. And we'll be back right after these messages. Hey, this is Tom Marino of The Tom Marino Show here. Imagine you wake up and you've had a major sewer backup in your home. Well, let me tell you about a company that I've worked with personally, New House Restoration, where they take your damaged old house and make it a new house. For any water, fire, mold, or asbestos damage, please call them at 631-604-8590. That's 631-604-8590. New House Restoration. Are you tired of nosebleed seats and extra fees? Do you want premium seats at affordable prices? Hey, this is Tom Marino from The Tom Marino Show, and I want to tell you about the best way to get premium tickets at affordable prices for your next concert, sporting event, comedy show, Broadway show. And if you need them anywhere in the United States, just contact Ticket Time. That's TicketTimeUSA.com, TicketTimeUSA.com, and tell them that Tom Marino sent you. And welcome back to the Tom Marino Show. I'm your host, Mindset and Success Strategy Coach Tom Marino. Thank you so much for tuning back in on this beautiful day, October the 27th, this Thursday afternoon. It is beautiful out there. We are experiencing a little bit of an Indian summer, which is kind of cool. But I want it to be sweater weather, so hopefully that'll come back really soon. And we've been talking with Deanna O'Neal from Chief Financial. Deanna is someone I met through a networking group on national stage. And she is in Washington State, but she is a financial coach, financial advisor, financial manager. She does it all, people. And the best thing that we've talked about so far is this concept of financial wellness and having a positive relationship with money and not seeing money as a bad thing, but seeing it as something that really does work for you. So Deanna, where did your mindset, because this is such a mindset thing, right? I see this all the time with my clients. I had Lisa Fine on here a couple weeks ago. She's a divorce mediator, and I said, "What's the number one thing people fight over?" She said, "Money, money, money." Right? It's always at the core of everything that we talk about is money. Right? It's become this big thing. How did you form such a positive mindset around money?
It's a very interesting question because I didn't grow up with a positive mindset on money. My family didn't necessarily have the good relationships. My parents fought over money. Ultimately, they got divorced.
Hmm.
My father always struggled with money. He didn't necessarily understand it. We watch our parents. We see what they do. My father was a small business owner. He actually opened many, many businesses in Arizona where I grew up, even though he was born and raised in Long Island. He decided to go venture out to the West.
Ah,
And
there's your connection to Long Island. Your dad was born and raised on Long Island. That's awesome.
gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I wish I'd, been born out there, but hey, the West is good as well. I'll take it.
You'll take it.
But yeah, he'll take it. He started a lot of businesses and he was amazing, this amazing entrepreneur. And he always wanted to be part of the community and he served businesses, but he didn't necessarily plan ahead.
Okay.
He didn't plan for retirement. He paid low into Social Security because as a business owner, you don't have to pay the double Social Security. And he just didn't plan because he said, I love what I do. I'm always going to work. Well, unfortunately, he got sick at a young age. He had a brain tumor. And it's not something that you can ever predict. But he ended up having to be in full-time care before he was even of retirement age. And without any planning, he didn't have any resources to go into that, to take care of him. His kids were all in their 20s. We didn't have the resources to help him with that. And so I watched him deteriorate, having to become a ward of the state, having to give up his entire life of everything, businesses, savings, everything just to get health care. And I watched this and I was already studying finances, but I was like, I need to do something about this. I can't, let other people go through this. I was working corporate finance, all that at the time. And I'm like, no, I need to help people. I need to help small businesses. I need to make sure that they understand the importance of this financial wellness, planning ahead, making sure your family's taken care of, you're taken care of. And so long story short, I looked at my father and just said, I can do something about this because I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that is incredible because you could have gone in a completely different direction. You could have taken on the woe is us, right? You could have taken on the victim mindset. You could have done nothing about it. You could have just let it go. But what an incredible opportunity to really help other people to secure their financial wellness and secure their financial futures. And it is so true. As small business owners, we always are thinking about, God forbid something happens to us. We are our brand. We are our business, especially solopreneurs, right? Solopreneurs are people who everything rides on it. And how does your family survive after? And how does it take, how do you make the best of that situation? And it's not an easy thing, but planning is such a critical piece of that, right? So do you do, like in your business, you said you're a financial coach, you're a manager, you're an advisor. How do you separate those? Because I know there's some rules around separating that, and how do you help people? Like if I was a client, right, and I came to you and I said, I want to fix my financial picture, which approach would you take?
Well, I'd have to know a lot more about your financial picture to figure that out. But I do have, and they are basically two separate lines of business. Financial advising is what you think about. It is helping with investments, advising towards those investments, growing your wealth. Financial coaching is a little bit different. And so some people aren't ready to go into that financial advising piece. They're just not there yet. It scares them. They don't have their money in order. And so the coaching, what I do offer through Key Financial is helping people wherever they're at to get their mindset in place, but also their financial picture in place, to get it to where their debt is under control, to where they actually have the ability to save and invest. And that's really what I've been doing for many, many years. I am an accredited financial counselor. I've been helping people with that. And I added the financial advisory piece to it because a lot of financial coaches help someone and they build this trust. And then they're like, okay, now you can go invest, go find someone else that you don't have a relationship with.
So you really get them ready as a coach for what they're going to do with their money in the future as an advisor, right? And getting them confident, and because people lack confidence in this, right? People are very intimidated by the stock market. They're very intimidated by all these terms, mutual funds, bonds, CDs. People are afraid of things that they don't understand. And in coaching them, do you coach them to understand those things and what those things represent before they're actually putting their money into investments and stuff like that?
Exactly, I do. I pride myself on education, first and foremost. If you don't understand it, you shouldn't be putting your money to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't understand it completely, but you should have a basic understanding, and it shouldn't be scary. Your financial advisor should be listening to you. They should be understanding what you're wanting to do, your level of risk. Every financial advisor has to fill out a risk tolerance form, but are they really listening and understanding and helping educate?
Right.
I know a lot of people have been saying, I have stuff, I don't really know what they are.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
My first experience with a financial advisor was my first job right out of PA school. It was the first time I had the opportunity to set up a 401k. And he said, you're young, you could be risky, you could do this, this, and this. And I had no idea what I was doing. And every 2 weeks, money's coming out of my paycheck and going into that. And I didn't fully understand that, right? I didn't get a financial plan, and I have a financial planner, and he's a good friend of mine. But we did that 2 years ago. We finally sat down and did that 2 years ago, and I finally learned, and it was something, because I'm not a money guy, right? I might be a business owner, I may make good money, but I've never been someone who really understood all of that. And people talk to me all the time about financial freedom, right? And what I want to be financially free, and that varies from person to person. What's like the big thing that people ask you in your coaching of them to help them solve?
Ooh, in the coaching. Okay. So in the coaching, most people want to get a hold of their finances and just understand them. Really say, I never have enough. And that's what I'm hearing all the time is I never have enough money.
Right.
Well, most people actually do have enough. And it's just the basics of understanding them, where things are going, the ins and outs. And we call it basics, but is it really basics if you've never been taught it?
Yeah. They don't teach this in school. I remember the most experience of finance was when I was 5th or 6th grade. I learned how to write a check, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And we learned how to balance a checkbook. But we never had those life skills developed further. And I think that's the thing is you leave your parents' home, you go out on your own, and you have to learn all of this stuff. We're having such a great conversation. Time is just flying on us. We're going to have to take another commercial break, but we'll be back. If you have a question about financial wellness, financial coaching, and you want to ask, give us a call, 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. And real quick before the break, go check out Deanna she's on Instagram at Deanna O'Neal, Oneal AFC. That's on Instagram at Deanna O'Neal. It's DeannaOnealAFC. And welcome back to the Tom Marino Show. I'm your host, Mindset and Success Strategy Coach Tom Marino. Thank you so much for tuning back in. We are talking today with Deanna O'Neal from Chief Financial. Deanna is the owner and Chief Financial Educator. She's a financial coach, a financial advisor, financial manager, and we've been talking all about financial wellness, and it has just been an enlightening conversation around how to look at money and not be scared by it, and to really love it, not love it like be greedy, like Deanna said before, but to really, position it that it is something that works for you. And right before the commercial break, I had asked Deanna about the biggest question that she gets and the help that people seek from her when she is in a coaching situation with someone. And Deanna, you mentioned about people getting a hold of their finances. So can you tell me a little bit more about your process and what that looking like, what does it look like to have a financially healthy life, so to speak?
Yes, of course. So when I mention people getting a hold of their finances, most people deal with money. They earn money and money goes out. And that's all they really know. I make it, I pay it, okay. And so the process of that healthy financial life begins with knowing how much is actually coming in and knowing how much is going out. And so the first step is tracking it, and which gets even more difficult. We live in an electronic world. You mentioned balancing a checkbook, learning how to do that. You talk to a 20-something today, they're like, what's a checkbook? And what do you mean balance a checkbook? It's not something they deal with. We don't even deal with cash much anymore. Right. Everything's electronic. And so understanding where all of our auto payments are going can be overwhelming. It can be easy to forget. And so the first step is just knowing. And so I help people just start tracking it, whether it's a daily, weekly, or monthly, start tracking their expenses. And then once they know where it's going, then they can decide, is that where they want it to go? Because that's truly what it is. What is the purpose of making money? It's to go to things that you want, to help you have a good life. Well, if you don't want it to go towards credit card debt, well, let's figure out how to not make it go towards credit card debt.
Right.
If you want it to go to a savings that you're going to fix up your house or have a nice retirement, let's figure out how to get it there, because that is the step-by-step process. It's learning where it's going, deciding where you want it to go, and how do you get it there. And that's it. Simple steps. Can take a little bit of time, but it definitely starts at the very beginning.
I love that. Knowing what you've got, what's coming in, what's going out. I mean, that's so simple. So many people, and this is where balancing a checkbook is really important, is knowing what you have and what you don't have. And, I heard somebody once, a financial advisor once say, I don't like rich people. And I said, why don't you like rich people? And he said, because they don't know where their money is ever. They don't know where it is. They have so much of it to track. They don't know what they don't know what they have. And I said, well, that's a good problem to have. And he said, yeah, but it's insanity, because it's so much of it gets wasted because they don't know. And, when you have less money, you actually are more in control of your finances than when you have more money. I really believe that, right? Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, everything is budgeted out. Everything is, I've been seeing all these people on TikTok and people using cash and putting X amount of dollars. There's people with all these systems, that they get X amount of dollars in, they spent X amount on, their bills, and then they put money back into those pockets so that they always have money to pay for their bills. And I always say to people, one of the biggest things that we complain about is paying bills, right? We complain about, and that's kind of, where is your money going, right? And where is it going is it going to the right stuff? And, we pay bills and we complain that we pay bills, but if you have the money to pay the bills, there's no use in complaining, because you have it and you spent it and you did it. You gotta look at where you're doing that. Where are you spending extra money? What is it that you're spending money on? And you're right, all these auto payments, these automatic payments to Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and your car insurance and your car, and you wind up with all these auto payments, and because you put that on, you kind of forget about them sometimes. You don't even realize you're paying them.
Fun fact. Oh, fun fact for you. The average household spends $63 a month on streaming services.
$63 a month on streaming services. That is insanity.
That's average.
That's $720 a year plus. $780 a year. That $730, whatever. We're spending that much money on streaming services. That is insanity. Well, cable bills have gone through the roof. I mean, and if you try to leave your service provider just to get internet service because you have all these streaming services, they hike up and charge you these unrealistic prices for internet service. So they keep you whichever way, you're crap out of luck, so to say. But, it's amazing. But $720 a year on average for streaming services, people. Wake up. It's time to make some big changes. You only need one streaming service, but everybody's addicted to that stuff. Right? What's your recommendation for like credit cards and 0%? Like, I don't know if you can give me this advice, but, people often have difficulty paying down their credit cards. And do you help people with their credit scores and stuff like that too? Do you coach them through that as well?
Absolutely. A part of the financial plan is debt management. And I help people understand debt, understand credit cards. Because if you've never been taught how to use it, again, it's one of those things that we just take for granted. Everybody knows how to use it, but do we really know how to use it properly? And so I can walk people through their own personal, if they're ready to take charge and pay things down.
Mm-hmm.
Or I do work with some reputable companies that there are a few out there that do actually help repair credit. But when it comes to just the understanding of a credit card, I sat down with a 23-year-old and she had no idea how the interest worked, what a statement balance was, just that you could actually not pay interest if you paid your entire balance in full. She didn't understand that. And so it was really just the basics, the education piece again. And so once you understand, it becomes easier to manage.
Well, knowledge is power, right?
Is absolutely. And always use a credit card to where they're paying you to use it.
Yeah, you got to get those cash back rewards, right? That's a big
Cashback
point.
rewards don't pay any interest.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know of somebody that once, I don't know how he did this, but he used to just get all these 0% credit cards and he used to do balance transfers month to month to month and avoided paying for like a year. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know what he did, but he wound up in a ton of debt. And that was not the answer, right? I mean, that is not the answer, people. Do not do that.
It's not the answer. And it's not great for your credit score either.
No. And then I was talking that I was listening to all these different things. Like there's so many ways to improve your credit score is by making that extra payment a month and kind of tricking the system. And there's so many ways to do that. But Deanna, you mentioned before, we were talking about inflation and the rising prices. What are your clients panicking about right now?
The biggest thing is their 401k. That's the biggest panic. And if you talk to anybody that has money invested in a 401k or even an IRA, they're losing money right now. And the same thing happened when the stock market fell in 2008. And it continues to happen because the stock market is cyclical. It's going to go up and down. But that is a huge deal if you're getting close to retirement. Right. And a good financial advisor should have helped you move funds. Again, should listen if you're willing to take those risks. A lot of people are like, I worked really hard for this money. Yeah. And it's just gone. I lost $20,000 in the last 3 months. Yeah. And it's painful. It is painful. It's really painful to watch it.
It's painful because
and there are different.
It was so good. And you made so much, but now everything you made is gone. Everything you made, if you didn't move things around, if you didn't have that good strategist moving stuff around for you, you lost a lot of money that you earned when the market was really good. So,
and most people don't have a strategist. Their HR department's not a strategist.
Right. It's very, very, very true. And we're going to get into that after the next commercial break. So we've been talking with Deanna O'Neal, and you can find her at keyfinancial.life. That's her website, Key Financial, and Key spelled K-I, financial.life. Deanna is a financial coach, financial advisor, and she really is helping me to feel a little bit better about my money. That's for sure. And I hope she's helping you to feel the same. Give us a call after the break if you have a question, 631-451-1039, 631-451-1039. We'll talk to you right after this. And welcome back to the Tom Marino Show. I'm your host, Mindset and Success Strategy Coach Tom Marino. Thank you so much for tuning back in. We have been speaking with Deanna O'Neal from Key Financial, and her website is keyfinancial.life, and that's K-I financial.life. Before we get back into our conversation, I just want to remind everyone that October, in addition to being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, is also Depression Screening and Mental Health Screening Awareness Month. And as we go into a season of transition and we go into the winter season as well, a lot of people struggle with depression, anxiety, and we have so many things that if you're paying attention to the news, which I encourage you not to always do, you're going to struggle and have some anxiety, and you're going to be concerned. We were talking about, the financial crisis that is impending right now, and, how inflation and how people cannot afford to give people raises at 9 and 10%. It's just not possible right now. And that's what the rate of inflation is. And so it feels very empty in your pockets right now. And, it can have a huge strain on your mental wellness and your wellness in general. So if you're not feeling the greatest and you're not sure why, go to see your primary care provider, have them screen you for depression and anxiety. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's plenty of medications out there. There's plenty of therapy out there that you can get your hands on to help you get better. So please, it's the month of October. Make sure you're doing that. And coming up In November, we have a couple of big holidays. We have Thanksgiving, but we also have Veterans Day. And Deanna, I want to thank you and your husband for the years of service that I know your husband's in the Navy and you've been married to him and you've been along for the ride and you have served your country as well by allowing your husband to serve his country. And I want to just thank you for your service and for his service, and I really appreciate that. And just wanted to say that you're not going to be on Veterans Day, but it's close enough. So thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you as well.
Absolutely. No, I really think it's so important. And do you have a lot of veterans that you serve in your business?
I do, actually. I live fairly close, sandwiched in between a couple military bases. There's veterans all over this country that I do work closely with transitioning out of the military, veteran small business owners. There's just something about that community that likes to stay together. Mm-hmm. And I have been serving and working with active duty military and veterans for the last 20 years. I understand their language because yes, they speak a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's good to know.
And just helping again with that education piece, because if you grew up in the military, the outside world is very different financially. Mm-hmm. And so that's really, really important. So yes, I do work with a lot of veterans and their spouses. And again, I appreciate you recognizing the spouses because they serve too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every spouse and partner of people in the military, every family, parents too. Parents that don't get to see their kids because they're serving. And it's really, it's a family sacrifice. It's not just the individual sacrifice, but it truly is a family sacrifice. And I greatly appreciate that. I had uncles serve in the military. One of my dad's uncles served in the Korean War. But there's so many friends whose parents served in Vietnam and, just they've served the military and they've done so many amazing things. And I've had several clients as well that are veterans. And I always enjoy hearing their stories and trying to help them now to be successful out of the military. And that's great that we're on the same wavelength, which is wonderful. One of the things we were talking about right before the break was, 401ks and how people are really panicking about that right now in the current market. And, it's, there's, when you turn 50, you could do that catch up, right? You could do that catch up into the 401k. So, I don't know if you can make this recommendation, but is there a right time? If you're 50 right now, would this be the right time to do a catch up, or is it better to wait to see how the recession goes and see? Are we really in a recession? Depending on who you talk to, we are, and we're not versus we are. But I think we are. But it's those kinds of things. Like, would you advise if someone was 50 or more, should we wait till the recession is over?
And those are great general pieces of advice. And everybody I work with, it's an individual basis. It depends on your situation. Mm-hmm. Because if you're 50 and you're planning on retiring at age 65, it's different than if you're planning on working until you're 80.
Right.
And so every situation is a little different, and how much you have so far. And if you're diversified, if you are in different types of accounts, different tax treatments of accounts, it's really important to know the entire situation before making a recommendation. Mm-hmm. The catch-up can serve very well for some individuals. And it depends. Right now, there's a lot of theories the market's down. Well, the market's on sale. Right. So if you're buying shares right now, you're getting a lot more for the money. Mm-hmm. So it can be a good recommendation, but I never make flat recommendations. Yeah. I know a lot of financial magazines do that. Mm-hmm. It's not an ideal because it should be personalized. It should be customized to your situation and your goals and your dreams.
Absolutely. No, that sounds great. It's just all of these things that we're thinking about. It's just amazing, how from the table to the gas pump to our retirement, the impact of the current situation is that profound. We survived COVID, but the after effects, the financial after effects of COVID are just dire. That's how it seems. But you know what? We're going to rebound, right? We need to see if you have money in your pocket, hold on to it. Don't let it all go. Don't spend it all in one place. Be smart. I always tell people, live within your means, right? People, that to me is financial freedom. How would you define financial freedom for somebody? Or for yourself, how do you define it?
Financial freedom is, again, individual. I'll say this a lot. There's very individual ideas of what it is, but the ultimate financial freedom is to have enough that you can live a good life and you're not stressing about money on a very regular basis. It's not giving you anxiety and stress. You're actually enjoying life and knowing that you have enough to take care of everything. Living within your means is part of that.
Right.
Living with what you have, making sure that you're paying for the right things, making sure that you're investing. Part of that is knowing that you're taken care of in that long run. That's part of that de-stressing, getting rid of that anxiety.
Yeah.
Money doesn't need to cost us. We have so many other stresses. Let's get our financial well-being taken care of.
Yeah. People always say, you can't take it with you, right? So use your money, right? Because you can't take it with you. But at the same time, you can't take your debt with you either, right?
No.
But and are you really responsible for your debt if it's in your name, or does your family have to pay all your debts, right? That's the question. It depends on the situation, right? It's a tough one, but it's one of those things. No one wants to really die with debt or know that their family is going to have to make up for some of that debt when somebody dies. But at the end of the day, do the best you can with what you have and just live within your means. And I love the whole concept. So, I can't believe we're out of time, Deanna. This has been such a great conversation. I hope that if you're listening to this and that Deanna has given you some renewed perspective on how to look at money and how to see it as working for you and really be more positive about it, not to be afraid of it. So Deanna, thank you so much for being on here. Can you tell everyone what's the best way to reach you? Give us your website and all that stuff.
Absolutely. I really appreciate this opportunity. The best way to reach out to me is you can go to my website, KIFinancial.life. You can also shoot me an email, Deanna, DEANNA, @KIFinancial.life. Those are the best ways to get in touch. I do free analysis for everybody, a financial analysis. I just want to help you understand where you're at. There's never a commitment. But if you just want a second opinion on anything, reach out to me. Everything is posted on my website, but we can definitely be in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Deanna, for being here. This has been great. It's been eye-opening. Definitely, anytime you want to come back, you let me know. We'll have further conversation. Hopefully, we'll be out of this recession pretty quick. Let's hope for a quick recovery. But listen, if you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a business owner, and you're going through a period of stagnation in your life and in your business, and you're going through a struggle, a tough period, a tough transition, reach out to me at tommarino.com. You can go to my website. It's a brand new website, people. We've reformatted the entire tommarino.com website, so go visit me at tommarino.com, fill out a contact form, or if you're a texter, just text me at 516-588-0750. That's 516-588-0750. Have a happy and safe Halloween on Monday. Be safe out there, and until next time, this is Tom Marino saying, choose your adrenalized life.